All right. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome
So I think I
back.
found
I gotta make.
the.
Okay, I'm good. Sorry, I was like, I don't know if I hit all the buttons I needed to hit.
I think I found the international approach to alien touching. So this is from the SETI website. Any individual, public or private, research institution or government agents that believes that it has detected a signal from or other evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence should seek to verify that the most plausible explanation for the evidence is the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence rather than some natural phenomenon or anthropologic phenomenon before making any public announcement. If the evidence cannot be confirmed as indicating the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence, the discoverer may disseminate the information as appropriate to the discovery of any unknown phenomenon. Prior to making a public announcement that evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence has been detected, the discoverer should promptly inform all other observers or research organizations that are parties to this declaration so that those other parties may seek to confirm the discovery of by independent observations at other sites and so that a network can be established to enable continuous monitoring of the signal or phenomenon. Parties to this declaration should not make any public announcement of this information until it's determined blah blah blah. The discoverer should inform his or her relevant national authorities. Let's see. After discovering that it is credible of extraterrestrial intelligence, the discoverer should inform observers throughout the world using the Central Bureau of Astronomical Telegrams of the
Oh,
International Astronomical Union. Who the fuck is that? And should inform
it's
the
the old Telegram people.
right. It should inform the Secretary General of the United Nations in accordance with Article XI was that 11 of the Treaty of Principles governing the activities of states and the exploration and use of outer space, including the moon and other bodies, because of their demonstrated interest and expertise concerning the question of the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence. Blah blah blah. I'm skipping a lot of this because it's really long.
I could
A
not tell
confirmed,
by the blah blah blahs.
yeah, a confirmed detection of extraterrestrial intelligence should be disseminated properly, openly, and widely through scientific channels and public media, observing the procedures of in this declaration. I don't feel like we would do a lot of this, to be honest with you. Um, I'm trying to find like what do we do with the people, the aliens?
Well, I mean, you know, to say we should kill them.
No response to a signal or other evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence should be sent until appropriate international consultations have taken place. The procedures for such consultations will be the subject of a separate agreement, declaration, or arrangement. So it sounds like we don't know what to do until it happens.
I mean,
Yeah.
which kind of makes sense because
Right.
who knows what the hell it could, it could be. Because like you got the two options here is something comes looking for us because they want to find other life as well, and they like are curious and want to research, etc. Or it could be like the movie Independence Day.
Right.
It could be any of those options, and we'll never know. Like, God, can you imagine if it is like the movie Independence Day?
That'll be real bad.
Yeah, I would not be super pleased about said Day of Independence. I feel like
I feel like th- they'd have a bad time. I mean, but who knows? They could. It depends on. I mean, I don't think our minds can grasp like how many possibilities there are for other life, and like the type of weapons that they could have and stuff.
right,
I mean, I feel like they could drop something on the planet that kills all life, like within minutes. Like there's no telling.
right. I mean, it would be we'd be like, look, a spaceship, boom,
Yeah.
and we're gone. Yeah, it definitely could easily be that is what happens. And God, wouldn't our faces be red?
I was reading a pretty crazy book called Seven Eves, Seven Eyes, it's either Seven Eves or Seven Eyes. I think it's Seven Eves. And the first sentence of the book, the moon explodes. Um, And so at first they're like, oh shit, well that's no big deal. I mean, it like cracks in half, but like they think that it's gonna keep like kind of staying together up there. So it's not really gonna affect the tides or anything because it's gonna, even though it's like been split, it's like still there. But then it starts kind of like rocking and like tearing, each piece starts tearing each other apart. And they realize basically this is going to be the end of all life on Earth. And so the whole book is about like trying to get people off the planet into some kind of space station.
That would be. I mean,
Yes.
God, and that is an interesting thing to think about too. Like, if the Earth truly, or the Moon truly does explode or whatever, ignoring the fact of whether it would, the shrapnel would come and do anything to Earth or not, saying that it doesn't. Like, with the way that the Moon affects the tides and all that stuff, like how detrimental would that actually be?
Yeah, no, I mean it could be. I mean, yeah, we don't know because we're not scientists, but I'm sure there's someone that knows these things.
Well, have you ever seen the movie Time Machine? And
By Michael Crichton. No, wait, that's Time Frame, I think.
no, what is the who is in that movie? It wasn't that good. I didn't like it too much. So this guy like spent all this time, like his wife or his fiance gets killed. It's set back in like the 1800s, and his fiance gets killed, and he spends basically the rest of his life trying to invent a time machine to go back and save her. And he finally succeeds in inventing this time machine and goes back, and every time he tries to save her, she just dies again like an hour later by some other way. So it's basically trying to say, like, certain things are destined. Her life is destined to end however it's going to end. You can keep saving her, but she's going to die. So he gets all frustrated and goes far ahead into the future. And when he does this, I don't remember how far ahead he goes, but it was a long ways. And he gets to this place where there's like these underground people and the above ground people, but the moon is no longer the moon. It's something like somebody fired a nuke into it or something and it exploded. And now it's just kind of like this crescent of all of the shrapnel of it are now orbiting.
I think I've seen this now that you're saying it. Yeah.
And I was always like, every time I watch that movie, I'm like, would that actually work? Like, would they be dead at this point? Like, would the Earth be all crazy now and the tides don't work? And
God, you remember whenever they were testing nukes? I mean, we weren't alive, but I'm sure you've read the stories of when they're testing nukes and they set one off in the atmosphere, and they thought for a minute there they just destroyed the whole planet, basically.
I don't remember that. That was the thing.
Yeah. Like whenever, we've only done it once, but we basically shot a nuke way up in sky and set it off in the atmosphere, and they thought they'd burn the atmosphere out.
And really, what they do?
I mean, I guess it repaired itself or something. Hold on, let's look this up. While I'm looking this up, though, did you read the other day about how Russia was like, "Yeah, we're gonna make robots murderers"?
No, I did not read that.
So there's been an international treaty about the development of AI murder bots. Like whether or not like will you make machines that kill people? And everyone except for Russia has agreed to not make AI murder bots. But now Russia's like, yeah, we're gonna make AI murder bots.
So rules of war are definitely something that confuse me.
Right? I mean, if you're at war, you're trying to kill people, right?
Right. And when there's like what was the movie The Patriot? Was that the one where they were all pissed off at Mel Gibson because he was going against the central principles of war, and he was like first taking aim at the generals on the horses so that the people didn't have like somebody to follow, and they like the regular people in the army didn't know like whose orders to follow anymore, and it turned into basically like chaos.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're mad at him because he's not following the traditional rules of war, but the whole war is still about killing everybody.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, and think about it. Like, if we actually did make murder bots, like that changes war completely, right? I feel like you don't have the attritions of war anymore. If the murder. If only robots are being destroyed, like I feel like you're less likely to be like, man, we need to get out of this war. You know what I mean?
I mean, because how interesting of a thing would that be? Because it wouldn't come down to like your robots killing all of the soldiers. It would come down to your robots killing all of our robots. Because if you're going to make murder bots, of course we are too.
I mean, right now we've agreed not to, though.
Well, if somebody makes them and goes against that agreement, don't you think that's going to change real damn quick?
Well, I mean, they're doing it now. They basically said, yeah, we're doing it. We're making murder bots, but we're not. So when the murder bots show up, we hadn't even started building ours yet.
Well, and so they could take us out quickly. That's what you're saying. Like, I'll be honest, I kind of am, as much as I don't want North Korea, I think North Korea is insane. Kim Jong-un is an insane person. However, I can kind of understand where they're coming from and not backing down on their pursuit for nuclear weapons. Because when you have a bunch of nuclear countries who are saying you're not allowed to have nuclear weapons, they're kind of fucked up.
Yeah, but at the same time, basically, what the whole situation's kind of fucked up because, like, well, we're a bunch of nuclear countries, and then we were like, all right, well, we have them. No one else is allowed now.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, isn't that messed up to be like, we have them, we're not getting rid of ours, but you can't have any, so stop it, and we're gonna put all these sanctions on you because you're trying to get some?
Didn't we all agree not to make more too, though?
Probably. But, I mean, all the ones who have nuclear weapons would agree not to make more. Does it mean, like, North Korea ever agreed not to make any?
Right. I mean, that's basically how it's supposed to work. I mean, that's all the people with them decided.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want North Korea to have nuclear weapons. I think that's a terrible idea. However, I can understand they're holding out to just go, oh, okay, we'll stop then. If you guys don't want us to have any, that's fine. Like, that makes sense. Like, they should... I would think it'd be much better if all the countries came together and said, we will all get rid of our nuclear weapons. Now, stop making nukes. I'm not saying that would work out, but conceptually, that seems to make a lot more sense than the way we're trying to go about it, and then wondering why North Korea is not all of a sudden following suit with what we decided they should be doing.
So the bomb was called Starfish, apparently. Starfish Prime. I'm trying to find the part where the scientists that I'm involved talked about how they thought they'd really fucked up. I'm looking at Wikipedia.
See? Because it's got good information. Good, reliable information. You should write a report. Oh my god, I can't.
Tell me. I'm looking for... I really want the quote.
Are you looking at Wikipedia on your phone? Or could people actually see it? Are they following along?
No, I'm on my phone. It was 250 miles in the air that we set it off. Took place after 250 miles southwest of Johnston Island. 1.4 megatons of TNT. The explosion was about 10 degrees above the horizon, as seen from Hawaii, 11 p.m. Hawaii time. One of 5 high-altitude tests.
Oh, 1 of 5? So they thought they blew it up once and decided to try it again?
No, maybe the last one was the one. I'm trying... Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is... I read this a long time ago, so... Yeah, but basically, like, I don't know. They really thought they'd fucked up in one of these. Maybe it wasn't that one.
Was it Hiroshima?
No, I think they knew they'd fucked up in that one.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I just don't get the decision making power of, well, we have the nukes, but you shouldn't. So therefore, you must listen to us.
Did China have nukes at that point?
When the agreement was made?
I mean, Japan. Did Japan... Jesus Christ. Did Japan have nukes when we dropped a nuke on them?
I would assume not, because... I'll be honest, if you drop a nuke on the U.S. and the U.S. does not retaliate back, I would be a little upset.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's assured destruction, right?
Pretty much. But it's one of those things, man. You don't drop a nuke on me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised that we didn't get a nuke dropped on us.
Yeah, my assumption is that no, they did not have nukes. Why are there so many baby zombies in here?
So what you doing?
Digging a hole. There's a place to sign, apparently. Well, that was really weird.
I thought about
Wait,
streaming on here yesterday. Go ahead.
When I have my bow drawn, and apparently... Oh, that was weird. I had my bow drawn, and this baby couldn't hit me? Because it kept bouncing off of me, and my shield was, like, taking damage, even though it was my bow was drawn back. So I was like, oh, this is a weird glitch, but it was really a glitch, because then when I let go, it just pulled my shield out. It didn't actually fire an arrow.
Are you out of arrows, maybe?
No, it's an infinity bow. I'm not like, using it now. It must have like had a weird glitch thing going on. I'm actually trying to build a mob farm.
Oh, do you do that?
We'll see if it works. I have no idea if it's gonna work. I mean, not one out of a spawner, like a dark room one, to try to spawn more things so that we can get more levels at a.
Yeah, I guess people used to do that, didn't they?
Quicker bases. Yeah, I mean, I did it. I did it under your house as one of my pranks.
Oh yeah, you sure did actually. Yeah.
That took a very long time, but it was well worth it in the end.
Yeah, we were talking about that gravel prank and on my stream the other day.
Yeah, that gravel prank was insane. I was no longer competing.
What I was talking about is like, I think it took me like 2 months to get that gravel.
Yeah, I remember you said how you were so afraid that I was going to find it that one day, because I went looking because I knew there was something going on, and I came within like probably 2 blocks.
Yeah, there was a video of yours where you used to walk past the spot in the wall where it was all the time. Like, there was several videos where I'd watch one of your videos and you'd just be walking right past. Like, if you just all you had to do was dig one piece of dirt out, and then there's this whole room of chests.
And the funny thing is, though, had I found them, I would have had no idea what you were doing.
No, just a bunch of gravel
I would have
chests.
been like, what?
That's gravel.
It's a lot of gravel and a lot of wool.
Yeah, wool wasn't easy to get back then either. Had to kill the sheep. You couldn't. There was no shears.
There was no shears. That's for sure. Did you have how did you do that? Did you have a farm?
No, you couldn't breed them. I don't think. No, I remember running around looking for sheep. I don't think you could breed them.
I don't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure you couldn't.
I don't remember. I remember back then there was no brown sheep.
Was there?
Because there was no cocoa beans. Because I remember they released all the wool colors, and I made a wool monument, like a rainbow monument on the wall for all the possible wool colors, and brown was the only one I didn't have because there was no cocoa beans.
Right.
Yes, I'm trying to.
But didn't brown sheep spawn or something? Wasn't there brown?
There was after a while. I don't think there was right away.
Okay.
And I still think cocoa beans are so underutilized.
Not as bad as poisonous potatoes.
That's true. That is true. But like cookies, what do you do with cookies? You used to feed them to parrots. They made them a use for them for a minute, and then people got upset because of diabetes.
No, it's because it kills the parrots.
Like real life parrots.
Yeah.
Chocolate chip cookies specifically.
I guess. I mean, it's like the whole glass of water and the children.
The whole glass of water and the what?
And the children. The jumping out for buildings.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? What are you making, what are you making this stuff up for, man? Glasses of water? Who knows what with glasses of water? You're insane. I did read this news headline today, and it had me so confused. It said, avocado injuries finally a thing of the past.
we've cured the avocado problem.
I was like,
what was it about?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what avocado injuries? Like, what the hell are you talking about with this avocado injury? I guess they made this. There was a grown avocado relatively recently that's like in the running for the Guinness Book of World Records largest avocado, and I don't know if somebody injured themselves on the pit. They kept referring to the fact that they're trying to do... There's this new experiment they're trying to do with, like, you know, genetic modification of it to make it seedless, which throws me off because I didn't think they had seeds. I thought they had pits. And if they mean seedless as in there's no pit in the thing?
What's the difference between a seed and a pit?
I mean, maybe is it just one giant seed? When somebody says something is seedless, I'm not thinking you removed one thing out of the center. Like,
well, that is the seed, though.
Would you say a seedless peach, or would you say a pitless peach?
I feel like, well, you know, I don't think you would say those words ever.
Wait, you don't think it's that important?
I just if someone said that to me, I wouldn't know what they were. What are you talking about? Like, did you take it out? Like, I don't know. And you know, the thing about seedless watermelons, for example, they're not really seedless. They're just killing the watermelon before it had a chance to grow the seeds. I guess seedless grapes are real.
Well, I just ate pieces of seedless cucumber today.
That was just a baby cucumber, though, right?
No, it was fucking giant. It was.
Really?
It was like huge. It said something on the side of it like
modified.
It said, well, it's ironically it said organic seedless cucumber, and I read because it's one of those cucumbers that came in like wrapped in the plastic. I don't know if you...
like an English cucumber.
I guess I don't know what that is. It's basically like it was wrapped in cellophane, but
yeah,
that's how they sold it at the store.
That's how normally they do that to the English cucumbers.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what an English cucumber is like.
It's from England.
Is it just a cucumber from England?
I think so. That's what I always thought it meant when it said English cucumber.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I remember thinking to myself like, why did somebody bother to make a seedless cucumber? Maybe because it says organic though, so somebody must not have made it. Maybe there's a brand. Maybe it's like when you breed a donkey with a...
Can genetically modified foods not be organic?
Aren't they not organic if they're genetically modified? I guess maybe they are.
I mean, organic just means that it's grown in a way that no hormones and those sort of things, but you could modify the cells, right?
Yeah, I guess you could modify them and still call them organic. I guess. I'm not big enough on the organic.
So, yeah, English cucumbers, sometimes called seedless or hothouse cucumbers, are often longer and wrapped in plastic. While the varieties are similar in appearance, there are differences which make them unique in the way that they are prepared and consumed. Yeah, so I guess they're always seedless.
Oh, so I guess it was just an English cucumber then. So it being a seedless cucumber. Where was I going? Oh, we were talking about seedless things. I literally, when I was eating it, was like, "Oh, it's so sad that this cucumber can never have its children cucumbers." But it's a seedless cucumber was legitimately there was no seeds in the thing. Whereas I've had seedless watermelon before, and I didn't realize it was just because they stopped them before they could grow their seeds, because I remember being very disappointed at the concept of it being a seedless watermelon when there was clearly like white seeds in it.
So I just looked up the GMO thing. It's the people that decided organic rules have determined that the use of genetic engineering or genetic modified organisms is prohibited in organic products.
Oh, so it can't, so you can't be a GMO according to their definition then.
Right.
I thought so. No, I really had no idea. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to me to call something organic, because organic is, despite what the definition might officially mean, people would, I think, generally attribute it with there's nothing. It's completely like natural.
Right.
And
yeah.
Genetically modified is definitely not natural. But I have no problems with GMOs. I think GMOs are, like possibly sustaining the future.
Right. How do you feel about like the lab meat?
I'm fine with anything that you can grow that's safe to eat, that gives you the ability to produce food for people that otherwise won't have food. I mean, it's funny because people bitch about, GMOs, but do you think that farms are as prevalent as they once were? Like, that's the fucked up thing. Their farms definitely are not nearly as prevalent as they were in the past. So there's obviously less farmland.
I guess so. Yeah.
So
How's that work?
What do people expect? Yeah, how is it that I can still go to every grocery store in the world and find every type of fruit or vegetable that I want?
That's the thing. Like, we have more food now than we did 30 years ago.
And maybe our yields are just getting better through GMO.
There's probably a lot less foods dying too, I guess. Like we understand, we probably have better machines and better pesticides. Honestly, probably. I don't know. Do y'all try to buy mostly organic stuff?
Julia does. I personally don't care.
I depends on the thing for me. Some things just taste better.
So taste is one thing for sure. If you prefer the taste of something, that's fine. I think most things, people aren't necessarily going, wow, I can taste the organic in this versus this other one. But if somebody came out with a legitimate study that they could point me to, and there might be these already made that I've just never read, but if they came out with something that said, this is why the organic version is so much better for you than the non-organic version. Not if you live to be 3,000 years old, it would kill you 1 year.
Well, I imagine any use of pesticides are bad, right?
No.
You don't think so?
For the pests. Part of the point of them is to ensure that you have a good crop yield, right?
Yeah, but what about the bees?
I mean, yeah. They could probably have other negative effects, sure. But wouldn't there be just as many negative effects of not using that stuff because you lose crop to feeding these organisms that aren't bees, which makes them thrive, and you have more of these things that will destroy more plants?
Right. But won't we all die if we kill the bees?
I guess. That's what they claim.
That's what they say. Yeah. I believe them.
I mean, I think it was somebody who used to be a bee in a former life who's like, gotta do what I can to save the bees. And they're like, man, I can't believe, just like the flat earth people believe this shit.
Did you know that mosquitoes play a huge role in pollinating cocoa?
I did not know specifically about cocoa. No, I will admit that.
Because, everyone always says that mosquitoes are completely pointless. But apparently, they wouldn't have as much chocolate without the mosquitoes.
What are mosquitoes specifically? I do. Oh, whoops! I just destroyed my thing.
Maybe they like chocolate.
Well, I do know that not just malaria, but Zika virus is really pointed out that I guess specific types of mosquitoes are completely pointless and only do negative things to the environment. Mm-hmm. So there was a big push to try to completely eliminate the specific population of mosquitoes that causes.
Yeah, did you see that they made mosquitoes that were more the females were more, or males? Yeah, I think it was the males that were more likely to the females to be attracted to, and then they would only give birth to mosquitoes that could no longer reproduce.
I think it sounds familiar.
That's pretty crazy to me.
But I don't. I know they talked. God, what was it they talked about? Were they genetically modified mosquitoes, or were they just?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I was gonna say I remember there was some talks about some genetically modified mosquitoes that had similar abilities to do. It would, if you sent these out there in the wild, that it would make it so that they would end up taking over the population somehow, and the males would die out, and then you would eradicate that species of mosquito. I did read about that with the discussions about this stuff. How do I want to do this?
Well, and with that, I think we're out of time again.
All right, everybody.
See you next time.
See ya.